Informal interpersonal functions. Introduction. Greetings. Introducing oneself and others. Extending invitations, accepting, declining invitations, taking leave. Small talk. Talking about the weather. Personal matters. Food. Entertainment. After going through the unit, you should find it easy to start casual conversations. Introduce yourself and others. Bring a conversation to an end. Take leave of others, and pronounce the sounds represented by the letters a and o, especially the weak forms. Introduction. In the previous block you learnt about some basic concepts for communication in English. In this unit, you will get acquainted with some of the ways in which you can express yourself informally with friends, classmates or colleagues in English. You may have to do this if the people around you speak a language different from your own. There are times when you may be in a group where the common language for communication is English. The tips in this unit will help you get prepared to communicate well in such situations. We cannot really predict what you will need to talk about, but we can help you with some commonly used phrases and expressions. In the past, conversation was considered an art. A good conversationalist was the light of social gatherings. Talking about the affairs of the everyday world in an interesting and entertaining manner was a cultivated talent. Communication is not always an exchange of information. Sharing ideas on everyday events can be a great source of pleasure and satisfaction. Though conversation is not viewed as much of an art today as it was in the days of yore, the gift of the gab is still thought desirable for maintaining cordial relations with people around us. Even in formal situations like meetings, the participants do not abruptly begin to talk about business. They first warm up with a few comments about the weather, the journey, food, sports, or current events before broaching the subject matter. We also provide you with samples of conversation from fiction, as one form of exposure to the conventions of everyday speech. You can in addition observe others speaking and notice some of the ways in which things are said. A colleague remembers how as a small child she waited with great curiosity to see what a group of visitors to her home would say as they took leave. As you work through the suggestions in this block, you can similarly note the equivalences and differences between the kind of expressions you use in your other languages and English. You can also watch movies or television serials and chat shows in English. Remember, what you say should be appropriate to the situation you are in and the kind of relationship you share with the people you speak to. Greetings. Let us first look at a sample taken from a novel of a conversation between two old friends meeting after a long interval of time. Hello, Raj. Welcome Prashant, take a seat. You startled me, Raj. When did you grow such long hair? You look like one of those ancient sages living out in the jungles. Whether I look like a sage or not is debatable. That New Delhi is a jungle, is not. Come tell us about good old Mumbai, which I miss so much. But first, tea or coffee? The return of Vaman, hello, is a common form of greeting among friends. There can be variations in the tone in which it is said, depending upon the emotional state of the speaker and the degree of intimacy between the people engaged in the conversation. In this case we can see that the two friends are overjoyed at meeting each other. The comment on physical appearance reflects the degree of intimacy between the two. There is also a reference to Raj's feelings of nostalgia about the days he spent in Mumbai. The next move in the conversation is the offering of a drink. Notice that this is not a full sentence. But first, tea or coffee? Expanded it means, will you have tea or coffee? Informal speech usually has half sentences and phrases, but because the speaker and the listener are face to face, much of the conversation is understood through facial expression and gestures. Here is an exchange of greetings between a librarian and a library member. How are you this morning, sir? All right, thank you. And how are you? Fine. Here are some new arrivals. You'd really be interested in this new book by Parnuk. Thank you very much. I read his Nobel Prize speech and I am really eager to read all his works. Notice the respectful tone of the librarian and the politeness of the member's response to it without being over-friendly. How are you? Is responded to with, all right, thank you. Or more commonly, fine, thank you. This could be followed by, and how are you? Let us now look at a slightly more formal exchange of greetings between two neighbors. How do you do, Mr. Mehta? How do you do, Mr. Trivedi? I'm sorry I didn't notice you. Well, I haven't seen you for quite some time, well, almost a week now. I was out of town. Is everything all right with you, Mr. Mehta? A river with three banks. Especially among the British. How do you do? Is a common greeting. How do you do? Is not a question. It is a greeting. The response to how do you do is how do you do. This example shows the kind of exchange that could take place between two neighbors used to seeing each other regularly. It also reflects concern felt by one for the other. Now look at this example. Hi, hello, why, what's the matter? Nothing. Come on, get it off your chest. Thanks, it's nothing really. Notice how the effusive greeting, hi, by the first speaker is responded to with a stiff, hello, by the second. Notice that the exchange is not open. The second speaker obviously is not in a mood to talk freely. Hello is less informal than hi. We use hi with very close friends, not generally with older people or people who are superiors at work. The word hello is also the most frequent greeting with which one receives a telephone call. Hello, hello, hello are variations of the same word. Other ways of greeting are good morning, morning. In the second instance, the word good is not uttered aloud but is understood. Good evening, nice to see you. Hello, seeing you after a long time. Nice to see you after so long. Hi, it seems ages since we met. How are you? Delighted to see you. Activity 1. Write down 5 other greetings you hear being used by people around you or on television or any English movie. Introducing oneself and others. How do we introduce ourselves to people whom we have never met before? I am Vinita Shukla. How do you do? Hello, I am Naresh Tripathi from Convensus. Nice to meet you. Have we met before? I am Renu Vyas. Tarun George. I have a vague feeling we have met somewhere. Was it at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore? That's right. I did my masters there 2014-2016. That's it then. I was doing my research there, same time. I'm Sudhir Shah. Come for the interview. Yes. My name's Deena Vakil. You're from Surat. And you? Vadodara. Are we too early? It's better this way than late. Informal interpersonal functions. I agree. These are some of the ways in which we introduce ourselves to others. Notice we do not refer to ourselves as Mr. or Ms or Drive. Do not say, I'm Mr. Sudhir Shah. While speaking we use contracted forms. I am, my name is, my names. Check your progress 1. List 5 contracted forms of verbs and give their expanded forms. Extending invitations, accepting, declining invitations, taking leave. Now read this conversation and notice the way these two friends talk to each other. Notice the welcome, the introductions, the way an invitation is extended, accepted and declined. Is Mr. Dhawan there? Please do come in. I'm sorry to barge in like this. It is generally considered impolite to barge into someone's house without intimation. In the first section the visitor excuses himself for his unannounced visit and is welcomed by the hostess. Hello, Bob. What a surprise. This is my afternoon round of rum. How about joining me? Compare the formality of Bob with the informal tone of his friend Barry. In the second section he is greeted effusively by his friend asking him to join him in drinks. Too early for me. Look, you don't have a phone and I didn't note your address the last time I was here. Bob refuses politely, apologizes for dropping in unannounced. The explanations and apologies. Back to your Englishness appointments, phone calls. You're welcome here anytime, Bob, still. And that's my bride. Married 7 years now. Pleased to meet you, Mrs. Dhawan. Barry introduces his wife to him. Notice the expression, pleased to meet you. This is the response when somebody is introduced to you. Other expressions are, glad to meet you. Pleasure meeting you. These are not full sentences but phrases. I am pleased, glad to meet you, it is a pleasure meeting you, would be the implied sentences. This is another example of how we leave out some very common words, easily understood from the context, when we speak. Well, I'm in a hurry. I just came to ask you, Mrs. Dhawan and Gautam. Sonali is the name. The visitor signals that he wishes to leave with the words, well, I'm in a hurry. He begins stating the purpose of his visit when Bob interrupts him, commanding him to drop the formality with his wife and address her by her first name. All right. I should be delighted if both of you and Gautam could come to my party next Saturday. Next, Bob invites Barry and his wife for the party. I should be delighted. Other expressions could be, it would be lovely if. It would be great if. I am not so sure about Sonali. You see, she may have to visit her ailing aunt that evening. And Gautam's away at Allahabad. But I'll come. This is the way in which one could excuse oneself or someone else from accepting an invitation. I'm sorry, my aunt has not been keeping too well, lately. Apologizing for non-acceptance. What a pity. I hope she gets well soon. Polite response. A river with 3 banks. Here are some ways of leave-taking. Notice the polite responses by the hosts. He hasn't come yet. I think I should leave. Do sit for a little while more. You have waited for so long. He should be back any minute. Can I get you something to drink? No thanks. Did he know you were coming? No. I thought I would take a chance. I'll go now. Oh, I'll tell him you came. Would you like to write down a message? No. I'll call later. Thanks. I must leave now. It's getting late. You have a long way to go. Yes. Hope you get well soon. Thanks. Thanks for coming to see me. Check your progress too. Grade the following expressions according to their level of formality, informality. Use ranks 1 to 6, 1 for least formal and 6 for very formal. A. Well, I think I should leave now. B. That was a pleasant evening, indeed. Thanks. Good night. C. It was nice spending time with you. See you soon. D. Well, thanks for the great time. Look forward to spending more such occasions. E. Bye then. Hope to see you soon. F. May I take leave of you now? G. See you. Check your progress 3. 1. Read these extracts from the novel Not a Penny More Not a Penny Less by Jeffrey Archer. Say which situation each extract describes, i.e. leave-taking or parting, greeting, or greeting and extending an invitation. Can you guess what the social relationship is between the speakers? I. See you in the morning, Professor. Thanks for a great evening. My pleasure. I'll pick you up at 10 a.m. Sleep well, you have a full day ahead of you tomorrow. E. Good morning, David. Good morning, Bernie. I thought I ought to let you know I spent the evening with a friend at Oxford, and he may invest some money in the company. That's fine, David, keep up the good work. E. Good morning, Mr. Silverman. Bernie. Please call me Bernie. Take a seat. Ivy, on the telephone. Hi, Lloyd. Didn't know you were in Monty. Why don't we get together, 8 p.m. Great, I'll see you then. Well, that seems to be all. Thank you for your cooperation. We may be in touch again sometime in the future. We'll keep you informed of developments, and I hope you'll do the same for us. Of course, Inspector. I do hope you have a safe journey back to town. 2. Comment on the situations described in these extracts from Jamila Gavin, The Wheel of Surya. Say who the speakers are and what they do, apologize, introduce themselves or others, etc. I'm so sorry to intrude like this, said Tom awkwardly. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tom Fletcher. I'm a teacher in India, but over on leave, in England, to see my parents. Are you Jaspal Singh? She demanded. Jaspal nodded. Come with me then, and she marched him over to one of the line-ups in front of the class teachers. Class 6 feet, announced the teacher. This is a new boy. He comes from India. His name is Jaspal Singh. Small talk. In the sections below we will discuss how conversation is carried on about topics like the weather, food, entertainment, etc. Talking about the weather. Weather is a very easy subject to start a conversation. This is because all participants in a conversation share knowledge about the weather. The weather is ever changing, and so can direct the course of the conversation for a brief while at least. The topic is, moreover, neutral in nature. There is no danger of getting too personal, or of holding offensively strong opinions about this topic. The British are legendary for making remarks about the weather, and are the subject of many jokes in this regard. Now read the sample of a conversation about the weather. Terribly hot, isn't it? The temperature has touched 42 degrees according to the weather report today. We are just in the middle of May. More than a month to go. But the news reports say the monsoon will be early this year. It's expected to hit the Kerala coast around the 28th of May. Hope that's true. Notice that the shared information of the two interlocutors makes it easy for them to take turns. Turn-taking is very important for the smooth flow of conversation. As a response to what one speaker has said, the second speaker continues or adds information. This implies that good listening is important to maintain the flow of conversation. If one of the participants is distracted, if he is not listening, the flow of conversation will be disturbed and uneven, because he will not be able to respond. Similarly, a person who doesn't allow the others to get in a word edgeways in a conversation is a bore. Here are some of the common words used to talk about the weather. Check your progress for 1. Arrange the following utterances made by two speakers, Arvind and Beena, about the weather into a coherent piece of dialogue. The first two sentences, which is an exchange of greeting, is given. Arvind, morning. Beena, niece, pleasant morning. Arvind, it's lovely. There's a nip in the air. Arvind, how far are you going? Arvind, hope this weather continues for some time. Arvind, that'd be simply great. I'll be with you in a minute. Beena, just right for a good long walk. Care to join me? Beena, but the days are warming up. Beena, just up to the nature park, and a brisk walk by the poolside to look at the dew on the leaves and the buds before it hots up. Activity 2. A. Try speaking to a friend in a similar way about the weather. B. Watch the weather forecast of a television news program. Note down some of the words and phrases used by the presenter. Personal matters. People and what they do are interesting topics for conversation too. While the word gossip does have a derogatory sense, it would be a very drab life indeed if we didn't talk about others and ourselves. Most encounters begin with inquiring about the welfare of one's family members. If we are among friends, it is also quite usual to talk about the activities of other common friends. This is also one way in which people keep up with others who have moved away. We might also happen to meet strangers. While some people may find personal questions embarrassing, they often serve to forge a friendly bond between two human beings. Read this conversation from a short story. Here we see two strangers exchanging not only personal information but also their views on life. Time, even native speakers of English may have accents peculiar to particular regions. The beginning of the story gives us a clue to the speaker's accent, the bench outside. I sighted him on the lone cafe overlooking Rydal Water, the placid idyllic lake behind Wordsworth's Rydal Mount Cottage in England's enchanting Lake District. He was dressed in grimy black clothes and it must have been months since he had shaved or showered. What's the time? He called out. What? The time, he said, pointing to the wrist. Oh, the time is 5:20, I said, trying hard to place his accent. Was he Scottish or Irish? And the changing times. You seem sad. What's the matter? I hesitated. Should I confess to a stranger? Then I decided to drop my guard. I lost my job 3 weeks ago. Ha, he snorted, as if he had heard a joke, so that's the problem. Don't worry. After the war, I thought I had lost everything. A couple of years later, I was back on my feet, hale and hearty. When my wife Rosemary died, I thought I was a goner. I roamed here and there. But I am okay now. Time is the greatest healer. Time will pass. You will get a new job and you will forget you were out of one. None of my business, but why did you lose your job? He continued, slurping the lemonade. I shrugged. They told me I couldn't relate to the youngsters, the new generation. I was a disciplinarian, an ogre to this generation's junkies. I couldn't stand their coming late, their clothes, their flirtations. So I got tough. It was a question of them or me. The management decided to get rid of me. Ha, he snorted again. Much to my consternation, I could see no humor here. The times, they are a changin', he sang merrily. Mister, you gotta change too. Can't remain the same. Don't worry, you will. It will just take some time. What do I do till I get a new job? Pure. He scratched his beard. You know what? Confronting time, uncommitted, unoccupied time, is a terrifying experience for a human being. But once you learn it, it does good for the soul. Imagine no TV, no movies, no pubs, no theater, no distractions at all. For example, being out in a place like this. What can you do but stand and stare? At the water, at the geese and the ducks. Sometimes nothing moves for hours. That's what I am trying to do. Confront time. It does good for the soul. It tells us worrying isn't any good. From the Hindu. Activity 3. Look up the dictionary to understand what the underlined words mean. I thought I was a goner. You gotta change too. Check your progress 5. Find out the meanings of these expressions. You may consult a dictionary or ask a friend. Look under the word foot in the dictionary. Be back on one's feet. Find one's feet. Put one's feet up. Fall on one's feet. Have both feet on the ground. Food. Another favorite topic that lends itself to small talk is food, whether it be talk about the new or popular eating places in town or the fruits of the season. In the following piece of conversation, an offer of fruit leads to a conversation about personal tastes and nostalgic memories that the fruit evokes in the participants. Fresh guavas from our orchard. Really, they seem to be just ripe. Yes, with guavas you want them just right, not too raw nor too ripe. Here's some salt and pepper. Sprinkle some. Reminds me of times back in the village. We would perch ourselves on the branches and merrily munch away, storybook in one hand. Glorious days. You don't really get that natural taste now, with all these artificial manures and pesticide sprays. Anyway, from your orchard, that makes it special. Notice the turns in comment and response. Each comment links itself up to the next in a chain, generating a cluster of ideas triggered off by the first offer of fruit. The subject of the first sentence is guavas. The exclamation, really, is a response to the first statement, an expression of wonder and acknowledgement. They is a pronoun substituting guavas in the first statement. The last word, just ripe, is taken on for comment in sentence 3. Sentence 4 adds an instruction. Sentence 5 triggers a memory. Sentence 6, glorious days, refers to the times back in the village. The last utterance links up with the first, rounding up the exchange. The word that links it to the first is orchard. The conversation might have ended in 2 utterances, if the second speaker had accepted the fruit with just a thank you. It is part of the art of conversation to find something to say that pleases the other person. Here, a comment on the fruits being just ripe enough to be at their most tasty. Again, the other person keeps the conversation going by agreeing. If learning to disagree and to pick weaknesses in the opposition's argument is the art of debate, the art of conversation would appear to be learning to be pleasant and agreeable. This is what is called the cooperative principle in conversation. Activity 4. Respond to these comments. I love pineapple juice on ice cream. My brother is allergic to oranges. Are you a vegetarian? Coconut water in these dog days is such a relief. The Chinese food we get in Indian restaurants is not really Chinese. Entertainment. Like weather and food, entertainment in a village, town or city is usually talked about a great deal. This again is shared information and leads to the strengthening of bonds. People talk about the places they have visited or events they have watched, either to inform others or to comment on shared experiences. Cricket, football and tennis matches also provide food for conversation. Read this conversation. A. Match has got interesting. B. What rubbish. We need 12 runs in the last over. A. Don't be stupid. We have got our best batsman at the crease. B. But you can't trust the other. He is a bowler. A. Daniel won't need to do much. Sridhar will hit a 4 or a 6. B. That's downright silly. He never plays well under pressure. A. Hooray. Here is the 6. We will win this match. You will notice that in informal conversation, speakers usually drop the polite tone. Expressions like, don't be stupid, that's downright silly, etc. are used without really meaning to be rude. Check your progress 6. Underline the expressions that are colloquial, used only in informal conversation, in the following sets of dialogue. First has been done as an example. A. Where are you off to? To get myself some food. Coming along? Nope. Plenty to do here. B. What shirt are you going to put on? What shirt? It doesn't matter. A white shirt. You're not going to wear a suit. Wait, I'll bring you an aspirin. I don't want an aspirin. But you yourself said you had a headache. Leave me alone. Well, it's your health, not mine. C. Hello, doctor. Don't you recognize me? A. Informal interpersonal functions. Doctor looks unsure. You've forgotten. Weren't we neighbors? We used to play tennis occasionally at the community club. You still don't recognize me? A. Take a good look. It's Frida, the daughter of Mr. P. L. Joseph. Let us sum up. In this unit, we looked at some of the ways in which we greet, introduce, welcome, invite, accept or decline invitations and take leave. The phrases given in the unit need not be learnt by heart but indicate ways in which everyday communicative functions are performed. You would have noticed that conversation does not begin or end abruptly. Politeness principles suggest gradual beginnings and endings. In this unit we looked at some examples of small talk. This could be about the weather, common acquaintances, sports or entertainment or current events. You also got familiar with some informal expressions used in everyday speech. Answers. Activity 1. I can't believe it. How nice to see you after such a long time. E. Good evening. So glad to see you. E. How lovely. You are just the person I was thinking of. IV. Shweta. How are you? So good to see you. You. V. Good morning. Wintex Consultants. On the telephone. Check your progress 1. I don't. I do not. E. I wasn't. I was not. E. They don't. They do not. IV. I couldn't. I could not. V. Let's not. Let us not. Check your progress 2. G1, E2, C3, D4, A5, B6, F6. Check your progress 3. 1. Social relationship is between the speakers. I. Leave taking or parting, a professor and his guest, perhaps a professional colleague. E. Greeting, colleagues at work, Bernie is David's superior or senior. E. Greeting, a boss and a newly appointed person. IV. Greeting and extending an invitation, friends. V. Leave taking or parting, an inspector and a person who has helped him in his inquiries. 2. I. Tom is a teacher. He is speaking to someone who doesn't know him, so he introduces himself and apologizes for his unexpected visit to their house. He is a little embarrassed. E. Jaspal is a new boy from India, and this is his first day at a school in England. A teacher takes him to his class teacher, and the class teacher introduces him to the class. Check your progress 4. Arvind. Morning. Beena. Niece, pleasant morning. Arvind. It's lovely. There's a nip in the air. Beena. But the days are warming up. Arvind. Hope this weather continues for some time. Beena. Just right for a good long walk, care to join me? Arvind. How far are you going? Beena. Just up to the nature park, and a brisk walk by the poolside to look at the dew on the leaves and the buds before it hots up. Arvind. That'd be simply great. I'll be with you in a minute. Check your progress 5. Be back on one's feet, well as successful again after being ill or having problems. Find one's feet, to be able to act confidently and independently. Put one's feet up, to rest or relax. Fall on one's feet, to have good luck after a difficult period. Have both feet on the ground, be practical. Check your progress 6. A. Where are you off to? To get myself some food. Coming along? Nope, plenty to do here. What shirt are you going to put on? B. What shirt? It doesn't matter. A white shirt. You're not going to wear a suit? Wait, I'll bring you an aspirin. I don't want an aspirin. But you yourself said you had a headache. Leave me alone. Well, it's your health, not mine. C. Hello, doctor. Don't you recognize me? A. Doctor looks unsure. You've forgotten. Weren't we neighbors? We used to play tennis occasionally at the community club. You still don't recognize me? A. Take a good look. It's Frida, the daughter of Mr. P.L. Joseph.